Welcome to Strenuous Life Radio, the podcast for leaderpreneurs, entrepreneurs, men and women learn the essentials and soft skills of the strenuous life. Hello, everybody. I'm here with my friend, and as you might say, ego, Jimi Hendrix. This is episode 190. We are talking about facing mental illness with courage. Now, Jimmy and I, seeing as we're a lot the same, we suffer from bipolar disorder. Jimmy, if you could, go ahead and tell them your story. Sure, I'll start out. I always knew that there was something wrong with me. I don't know what it was, just 4 to 6 years old. Something wasn't right. And I especially noticed when I was around 12 or 13, it was like, is something wrong with my personality, or just, sometimes I feel sad. My mood's all over the place. What in the world? And it especially hit my 13th birthday. Depression. I didn't know that's what they called it back then, but I soon found out. And by the time I was in my late 20s, I really knew. In 1997, I went through a 9-month-long depression. I had some breaks here and there for about a couple weeks, but never really fully went away. And finally, in 1997, I was diagnosed with major depression. And in December, the diagnosis was major depression with psychotic features. And it was like that for almost 10 years. And then in September of 2006, I was hospitalized for depression. And as a result, when I got out of the hospital, the new doctor I had started running different tests out of curiosity for a 6-month period. And after the last inventory, he said, "You have bipolar disorder." And I was all down and stuff because, my friend Jim Bob, he said, "You have bipolar disorder, you can't go to school, can't hold down a job, can't do anything." And my doctor, he said, "Now, Mr. Hendricks, you don't need to be down about this, because people who have bipolar disorder, that they have a normal life." And I was scared to come forward and talk to people about it. I was scared to come forward and talk to people about it because, well, I'll be honest with you, I felt like it was something that people didn't need to know. I thought that if I exposed my disorder, people wouldn't look at me the same again. I'd be judged. And in some ways I was at first. But then in 2018, the bishopric of my church came to me and asked me to come forward and talk about my mental illness. And it was the hardest thing I've ever had to do. But I did it. And yeah, we talk about all the wonderful things. We talk about the strenuous life and all this stuff, but part of the strenuous life is admitting that you have a mental illness. Well, that sounds reasonable to really talk about it. Now I'm going to give my story. Like Jimmy, I waited until I was 27 to get diagnosed with depression. I knew something was wrong. And then, around the time he was hospitalized, I didn't let it go that far. Because I didn't have nitwit friends back then, half-wits like Brad and Jim Bob. I got rid of them. But I noticed something was wrong, and I went to see my doctor, and he ran the test. He said, "You got bipolar disorder." He said, "But now, JR, this is not the end of the world. You can make it." But I didn't want to tell anybody. My daddy found out. He was not very happy. And I was judged by people. But you know what? I'm coming forward now. You have a mental illness. You can face it with courage. And no, come forward. Don't be afraid to say. It's not an easy thing to live with, I know. But mental illness is something that you can live with, you can manage, you can conquer with a little bit of help and support. And Jimmy and I, that's why we came here to coach you along with this thing about mental illness and give you strength and courage to face it without fear, knowing that God, He's with you. No matter what, He is with you. Hope you enjoyed listening to the Strenuous Life Radio. If you like what you hear, please subscribe and become a part of the Strenuous Life Radio Network. It's J.R. Hendrickson. Until next time. Don't just sit there and take it. You build your dreams so you can take it. And do what others don't so you can be what others won't. And do what others don't so you can have what others can't. And like my daddy always said, think strong, live strong, and live the strenuous life. God bless you. Y'all take care now, you hear?